Just so folks know too, this is Sulphur Run. Yes. This is like, the train derailment is just upstream here. This creek is the one that was, tons of contaminants came right down here after the derailment, and we've seen sheen of, chemical sheen in here every single time we visited so far. And this is also kind of the beginning of the tunnel where this goes under several homes, including Chrissy's home that we talked with earlier today, actually. Yeah. Well,
do you think you want to venture down there?
Yeah, let's check it out.
I was down here earlier.
Yeah, let's check it out.
When you see that, that's usually you can get chemicals off of that.
Oh,
look,
we're
right
getting
against
some
the
down
shovel.
here.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it did come off that.
Oh yeah.
I see the black in there too. Let's see. I'll show you an example. We figured out like this black layer, it looks like a watermark, but when you dig at that, it usually is chemicals.
It blows my mind that these houses were built
over
over this creek.
Yeah.
Like what? What?
I don't think I've seen that anywhere else.
No. No, like this house can't have a basement.
I don't think that they do. I know Chrissy does.
Chrissy does, but for her, the creek kind of is like behind her basement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Chrissy's basement is against this right wall, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's still very small to walk through. We've walked through there. We've walked through that tunnel. This tunnel, I didn't really see that much in it, but it was possibly after they cleaned it.
Right.
But that one, like when you have a flashlight, you can see stuff all through it. One thing it reminded me when you said about the housing program that Norfolk Southern started.
Yeah.
So you guys have talked to me a couple times. From my house, I'm almost 6 miles away. And I was sick with symptoms for 5.5 months every day. That housing program ends 0.9 miles from my house, literally 2 roads down the street from my house.
Right.
And so we're not eligible for it, even though we were affected. And with the president coming in too, like if he's wanting to help, then I would like to also see him not just help East Palestine, but the surrounding areas too, because it was more than just.
Right.
I mean, you guys know that from talking with like Lori O'Connell. And other people too.
There were so many just arbitrary boundaries that were set in the beginning of this, whether it be the 1 mile evacuation zone in the beginning, which was very, very small compared to what should have been done, especially when the unnecessary decision to detonate those cars was made. When you explode something like that, and you've all seen the drone footage of the explosion and the impending aftermath of that toxic plume going everywhere, it's pretty damn clear that people more than a mile away should have been evacuated, and people should have been given a whole lot more information about what the heck was about to go down. First off, you've been out in the creeks quite a bit, just like Rick Chai has as well. What have you been seeing kind of since we've seen you last back over the summer? Are you still finding chemicals in the creeks quite often? What's been going on there?
Well, most of January we haven't so much been in the creek because it's been a bit cold.
Yep.
But
fair.
and it was frozen.
Yep.
But the last time before January I was down was actually Christmas Day, and there was still rainbows in the creek. There's like this white milky looking substance, and sometimes it will foam, it will sort of look like, or like bubbles. But there's definitely still stuff down there.
Right, right. No, absolutely. And I'm curious, I mean, so you live just over on the Pennsylvania side of this. We've talked to a couple folks in Pennsylvania on this trip and on previous trips. How have things been going for you, like health-wise? Are you still noticing symptoms and that sort of thing? Just curious for an update there.
I usually at home, the symptoms aren't so much anymore. Like still you'll get headaches, and I used to not get migraines before all of this and stuff, but now you still do. Still like some difficulties breathing. My dad will notice stuff more than I do now. But I think that some of that is because of me going to the creek, that I don't notice smells as much anymore.
At home, right, yep.
Or even when I come up into town, like it has to be really strong for me to smell it. There was a time last week or the week before, I think it was, where it was really foggy. And I had just stepped outside. I was up here in town.
Right.
And I just stepped outside and I was like, ooh, what is that smell? To me, it smelled like something burning and or something burnt. And then I started asking people, like, have you all been outside tonight? Did you smell something? And a lot of people were saying paint thinner. And
I've heard that from others as well.
Some people saying burnt wires. And then, like, I got like a headache with that. And like, other than that, there wasn't really anything. It was just like your nose burnt even,
right.
But that was about it. And then the fog cleared out and the smell went away. But I know other people do still smell stuff.
Right.
But up in town, like, I'll get a headache more often. When we get down to the creeks, you end up with like more coughing or headaches, dizziness, or like you get that brain fog still.
Right.
We do try to wear masks when we go down there.
Yeah.
But most of the time we do.
Yeah.
But even with a mask on, you still can have that.
Right. No, for sure. I'm curious your thoughts. So just a couple days ago now, we heard that President Biden is actually going to make a visit at some point now in February. We've been talking with folks and just kind of getting their initial reaction to that. What are your thoughts on the president saying that he's going to come a year into this, essentially?
Yeah. I think that he does need to come to see what is still going on. I also think that he doesn't need to come because you kind of missed your chance.
Right.
Like, for people to be happy that you're coming. It could have benefited him a bit more in the beginning, I think, with people around here. To have come sooner. And most presidents do come sooner when a disaster happens.
Right.
But hopefully, my opinion of what I would like to see come from him coming here is that he does sign the declaration that was sent to him, and we can get help.
Right.
Because there's so many people that do need help.
Right.
Or will need help.
Yeah,
So,
I hope that's the case because, I mean, in being here the last couple of days, it's clear to me that the cleanup is still very much ongoing. It's still a big mess with all of that. There are still plenty of residents dealing with health symptoms. There are tons of residents who would like to leave and can't leave for financial reasons because selling your house in East Palestine is really difficult. We just spoke with Lonnie Miller, who her house has been on the market for 100 days. And the realtor has shown it 0 times. The realtor said this is the first time she's ever had a house for 100 days on the market and literally had 0 interest in it whatsoever. So selling your house is not even a feasible option for so many people. And then being able to get another house while your house is for sale is not an option for people. So there are still so many things that you would hope the federal government, the state government, somebody would be doing. So I really do hope that visit from Biden brings that. Unfortunately, though, I hope I'm wrong here, but I think what we might see is what we've seen with so many other officials who have visited town before this, which is meeting with a hand-selected group of people who are going to tell these folks, everything that they're wanting to hear, and then kicking the can down the road literally for a freaking year while people are just sitting here suffering and being exposed to God knows what, because we don't know what all of this is still.